Hello everyone, and welcome to what I think is the fifth episode of Daughters and Dragons, my podcast on the homonymous pet project of a tabletop role-playing game made to be accessible or playable better for kids, adults, and basically everyone. So today, or better yet, yeah, it's the second video today for me. I'm gonna just continue on the same topic as last time, which means actually changing topic, in the sense that we're gonna go from the most typical and well-known ability scores and their dynamics for characters in the game to a concept that is not really unique or so original, but quite different, and I think present only in one game that I know of. So this time I'm gonna be slightly more abstract because the concept itself is more abstract, and might also repeat myself or say something different. I didn't, read in advance what I wrote long ago about this subject, so I might say something completely different or just the same. I prefer it this way, and I'll start explaining it this way. So what do you think about when you describe an action, yeah, or in a role-playing game, and then the master tells you, okay, roll for skill X, and you're like, yeah, but like, didn't I describe it in such a way that it's not just that? Well, that has been bugging me for a long time. As I said in another video, my group, my playing group, or the most recent one, which is like saying some group of many years ago actually, they know how I tried to solve this thing, which meant at that time basically making a hybrid system between Dungeons and Dragons and Legend of the Five Rings, which is a Japanese themed role-playing game for like fantasy feudal Japan, yeah. And why? Because in this game there are the so-called five rings, which correspond to elements, and what they do is they basically modulate actions. But wait, because in this game you actually roll these rings as if they were the ability scores, and then you add skills on top. So what happens is, in this game there is no strength, intelligence, no, you're just defined by fire, air, water, and earth, and then a fifth weird element, which is void. And basically skills, like the same skill, let's say, I don't know, they have skills for everything, so it could be crafting, yeah, crafting of something, could be could mean inventing this something if you roll it with fire, or it could mean repairing this something if you roll it with earth, or it could mean analyzing something of that kind if you roll it with air. I'm not gonna explain you all the concepts of this game. I took quite a few of them, but changed quite a lot because I didn't want a specifically Japanese themed system, obviously. And instead of the elements, I said, okay, what do kids and people, I would say, really identify with sometimes? Well, many people believe in astrology, yeah, the zodiac. I will not say an opinion there, apart from the fact that obviously there is no proof at all of the and there cannot be proof of the veridicity of such a system. But whatever, the point is, there are archetypes, there are subconscious archetypes that more or less everyone sees the same. Like, nobody in the world will ever see, I don't know, a snake as a positive animal. Yeah, there is no such thing. And more or less everyone will have the same opinions about dogs. Yeah, okay, somebody might, some people might say it's for company, some might say it's for other things, you know, but still, you know, the dog is sociable and this and that and so on and so forth, and the lion is the king of the animals. Okay, so in the previous video I already named the animals that I chose to represent this kind of 4 elements, which indeed go and substitute the 4 elements, or better yet, they complement them. And these are the spirits of eagle for air, lion for fire, unicorn for water, I know it's strange, and dragon for earth. Okay, so there are many associated concepts, but let's take a step more into the practical stuff and see what does it mean, yeah, in the game. In the game, it means you can see these as 4 extra ability scores, yeah, which in my game they are not scores, they are dice. So 4 slots, I don't like calling it like that, but yeah, it's 4 slots on the character sheet that can be associated to dice. The difference is they can be, they don't have to be. What I mean is, you might have dice associated to a spirit or not, yeah. By default, you should have at least 2. Like, there is no way, at least at character creation under my current scheme, to create a character that only has 1 association but super powerful, because it would kind of incentivize a one-trick pony kind of character, although every spirit actually controls many things, not just 1. So yeah, in general, you might have a strong spirit and a secondary one, or you might have a strongish spirit and 2 middle ones, or you might just be a jack of all trades and have a small connection to every spirit, you know. I mentioned jack of all trades because yes, they control skills and traits, which basically I see as some kind of passive skill, or at least a skill that by default, let's say without special training, doesn't give you the ability to really roll it as an action. It might be a reaction or something like that, like a saving throw. Okay, so now I could just tell you all of them, and it's quite a lot, but let me tell you first how exactly I envisioned it. So I didn't want a system that, like in Legend of the Five Rings, can modulate all abilities into all the possible ways, because that would have been either a lot of rules, like a lot of naming to be done, even of actions that kind of don't have a name. So that's what I want to avoid as much as possible. Like, nothing should be there just to be there, you know, or something that doesn't have sense in reality, as I always say. So to make sense, I said, okay, let's take a house rule of having every trait and skill, but in the previous sense of those aspects, those coupling of abilities that I told you. And let's basically create 2 traits and 2 skills from each of these aspects, 1 for each of 1 for 2 selected spirits, yeah, the ones that make the most sense. So for example, I made the example before that leadership, or actually the action to lead, as a skill, yeah, as a skill, although you will see that skills are kind of broad, they could include magic as well, is the result of power, which is charisma, basically roll together charisma and vitality, plus your optional connection to the lion spirit. Okay, so this is how it works. So on the table that will be on the character sheet, because I don't know if you remember, I said it long ago, the character sheet aims to be also kind of a playing mat and the cheat sheet of the rules all in one. So on the character sheet you will have the full table of these things, because more or less they encompass everything that you might want to do. What happens is you have your die sitting there representing your connection to the spirit, and everything on that row of the table. So for example, I have a d6, a six-sided die in lion. What does it give me? We said leadership, but that's on the social side, which is on the right, yeah, because I always go into this follow this scheme where I start from the most physical material things down to the most ethereal, how does it say, well, whatever, you got me, the most abstract things, which strangely, well, with social it's kind of actually circling back, yeah, it's more of a circle actually. Social circles back to physical, so, but stays on the right by convention. So on the left instead we have all the most physical. So basically, what do we need to modulate into the lion? Well, we have two. We have a variant, let's say, of endurance, which for the lion has been named in a couple of ways. For now, like my new version is passion, which doesn't seem at all connected to endurance, but basically is to give the impression that some characters might have such a passion, such a burning heart. The emoji is that of a burning heart, that they can even stay alive and kicking even when their regular most physical forces are gone. So basically you could see it as the kind of indomitable spirit of the lion, yeah. It could be also, it was called also temper, and it was seen as characteristic of, okay, if you got little of it, little of the lion, you kind of have low temper, but that means actually that you get angry more often or provoked more often, but then you don't really react so much, while the big temper is like, it takes a lot to anger you, but then when you get angry you're like a force of nature. This concept was kind of too specific and too difficult to represent, so I am rolling it back. Okay, and this is one of the traits of the lion, the passive ones. You will see it even contributes to hit points, yeah, to the health of the character, right? So how much it takes to bring this character down. Then strangely, on the same aspect of endurance, the lion has what I call a hybrid skill. So basically an active version of a passive trait. So basically still using strength and vitality, which normally calls for a trait, a passive thing. They actually have a very active skill called rush. That's basically, you could even think of it as your basic attack, in the sense that it's an attack that doesn't have any bottom line, any how is it called, any strings attached, yeah. It's just plain front facing attack, typical of the courage of the lion, yeah, of the traits of the lion. And this is the physical aspect. Finally, here is where I use the physical keyword in the grouping of these ones. I might use it everywhere at some point. Then we get to practical, where we have instinct and technique, and the lion doesn't have technique. See what I said? Only when it makes sense. See, the lion is not a type that goes for such finesse as technique. The lion goes for instinct. And what's the lion aspect of instinct? It's reaction. It's very generic, I know. It will probably be subject to change. It could be called in many different ways, but basically I see it as the actual ability to do something, to act, and to act in a powerful way in reaction to something else, obviously, yeah, that's why it's called reaction. And you will see that it's basically both a defense and possibly for some characters even an attack, yeah. attacks of opportunity ring a bell if you play Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, that's where they come from. Now, on the theoretical side, the lion has a possibly unexpected side, which is invention. Yeah, I keep it as a verb because it's an action, to invent. The emoji, by the way, the emoji of reaction was a little tiger from like the one seen from the side, while for rush it was a fist going like this, so direct attack. I will put the images now, I guess. And for invent, it's the flame. Why? Well, because I also wanted to connect it to magic, and in particular to sorcery, to elemental magic. Yeah, producing a flame, that's really something that, as a sorcerer, because that's something that, in my view, at least when we play with classes, it will be a sorcerer thing, is done through invention. Like, you have to figure out how to do it. Yeah, it's not just that, it's also the invention of fire. In general, fire is a great invention, so that's why fire. And finally, leadership, which is the social aspect. I will stop here because we are already past the 15 minutes. I guess I might do one video per spirit, because here I talked a lot about the lion spirit, and I also gave the introduction on how this spirit works, animal spirits work. And next time maybe I might do a bit of the same. Yeah, talk about a few other particularities of the general mechanic of animal spirits, and then give you an overview of another animal spirit. I hope you like it. There is a story that I will link. Follow the link down here for a story that portrays not really a typical lion character, but the magic associated to the lion, which again I will do different videos about the magic. But let's just say that basically the magic associated to the lion obviously will have a lot to do with all these concepts that we talked about, and some more. So yeah, basically invent and lead, I told you that they are skills for magic, but the skills are not enough. There will be a whole table of magical effects, or spells if you want, but more like spell seeds, that you can do, and that will be associated to each animal spirit. Yeah, in again such a row and column fashion, where the columns will actually be something almost akin to magic schools or disciplines. We will see about that later, or you can check the story and get a preview of this big concept. Oh my god, it's already 18 minutes. Bye bye, and enjoy playing any role-playing game, because you would be my customer. No, I'm joking. Bye bye.